Hello and welcome to 2024. Happy New Year from the den. Um, this is just a cobbled together video. I have some footage from when I went to Spellbox earlier this week. Um, I went to Spellbox in Melbourne to get my 2024 calendar, which I hadn't done until now. So that was fun. And so I took a little bit of footage. So all going well, I'll put that on this. Okay. I'll, I'll get himself to do it if I can get himself down from the ladder. And if there is no other footage on this, it's because I've just done this and put it up myself. But the minute I have to put fancy bells and whistles on a video, I need help. All right. So I wanted to wish you a happy new year. And I wanted to share just a few things like straight from the heart. So I have had this calling to go back to I Found a Fox on Instagram. A few of you followed me over there, and then I got lost in the world of Muggle, and I couldn't maintain two Instagram feeds. It just all got too much for me. And also, there was a part of me that is still not 100% comfortable with speaking about my spirituality publicly. But that part of me is starting to just sort of fade away now. and and so I had this calling to re-energize and reactivate that I Found a Fox Instagram account. And so I was in bed this morning. I am on the bed now. If you're one of my moon sisters, Izzy or Jen, you'll know this spot because this is where we sit. This is where I always seem to be sitting when we do our calls. Yeah, so I was in bed this morning scrolling through, and I thought, oh, have a look at I Found a Fox. I didn't even know how to access it. Like, I had to get himself to do it for me. There you go. I'm so techie. And so yeah, and there was a message there from, I think, 68 weeks ago. There was a beautiful message from Mad Witch. Hi, Mad Witch. I'm so sorry I didn't see your message. Just a tapping in and saying I hope you're okay message. So that's how long ago that was that I never saw that message. But then there was one from like a week ago, and from another I Found a Fox person who also follows this channel, and she said, "Please come back to Instagram. We miss you." And it was so lovely. And it was just the message that I needed. It was just the sign that I needed that, yeah, it was good to come back to Instagram. It was good to get out there again. So that happened. And thank you so much if you're watching this video um, for messaging me with that, because it was really, really important to me to see that. But I also wanted to share with you a friend of mine, Elle Steele, who I've been following for a long time, and I've been in and out of groups with her over the years. She's been in my group as well. And she put up a beautiful post on Instagram. And that's Elle. That's Elle's feed. And it was just so super inspiring. I wanted to share it with you here. So Elle says, my theme for 2024 is to be a fully expressed woman, to share my creativity, my magic, my voice, thoughts, and opinions, to no longer stop myself thinking they already know this, or what if someone comes at me for what I say, to be as opinionated as possible and let the invitations in. Some people aren't for you, so don't create for them. Create for expression. I have been treading on eggshells for so long, I'm ready to clean them away. Here's to the fully expressed woman. Thank you. And then she thanks her beautiful coach that she's got. But I just love this idea of being a fully expressed woman, of sharing your creativity and magic and voice, and not letting that voice that says, because that's a big one for me, oh, they already know this, or they've already heard this, or, who are you to offer? That sort of voice is very strong with me in this space. Uh, and it's something that I'm becoming more and more aware of, and more are just dismissing it, just dismissing it. And I like this, you're not for everybody. Somebody came on to my New Year, to my Christmas greeting, someone really nasty left a really nasty comment about how dare a witch wish people happy Christmas. I know, and it was just that old paradigm thinking that, somehow we're Satan worshippers and we're out there decapitating chickens and all that sort of stuff. So I just deleted it. But it was a shock to me. I got to say, it did hurt. It did hurt. And so Elle says here again in this post, the more that you share your magic, the more magic will be available to you to share. So that's a great motto for 2024. So thank you, Elle, if you're watching this. I might have to, hang on a minute. I have to just switch this off. I can't get off the bed because I'm all tangled up, but Beatrice wants to get out. David, can you let Beatrice out? She's just at the door. Thanks, darling. Oh, God. It's so wet here. It's just beautiful. Like yesterday was 31 degrees and, humid and really, really hot. And today it's just pouring rain. So it's lovely and it's quite cold. So we're having a really cozy Sunday. It's lovely. The other thing that I wanted to share with you today is I don't know if any of you have heard of Dorothy Walters, PhD, but if you haven't heard of Dorothy Walters, you're in for a treat. She has passed away now, but she passed away, I think, about a year ago, well into her 90s. And but she was an academic in America and also a poet. And I'll read you her bio because I want to share with you from this beautiful book of poetry of hers that I've got. It's called The Kundalini Poems, Reflections of Radiance and Joy. Okay, so Dorothy Walters, PhD, taught English and American literature as well as women's studies in various Midwestern universities for most of her professional life. In 1981, so flag that, 1981, at the age of 53, she underwent a spontaneous Kundalini awakening that unfolded over many years. The unimaginable bliss and ecstasy she experienced, as well as challenging pain and suffering, ultimately revealed a life path of profound unity with the sacred. Walter's poetry emerges from that source. Her poems arise as spontaneous outpourings from a heart seared by the divine. Now, if you want to know more about beautiful Dorothy, there she is there. I'm sure you can't see that very well, but if you want to find out more about Dorothy, there is a beautiful interview on Bat Gap with her. If you don't know Bat Gap, oh my God, you're up for a rabbit hole. Bat Gap is Buddha at the Gas Pump, buddhaatthegaspump.com. It's a YouTube channel run by Rick Archer, and it's been going for years. And he's done more than, I think, 700 interviews now with spiritually awakening people. So it's fascinating. It's a fascinating YouTube channel, and you can go to the website too, and because he's very open-minded, so he interviews people from all different areas, and so it's all broken down into categories. Somebody might be wanting, he might have a whole lot of interviews about non-duality. He might have a whole lot of interviews about Ayurveda or the Course in Miracles, and so on and so forth. So there's loads and loads of interviews over there to watch. But he did a beautiful interview with Dorothy not long before she passed away. She was about 93 at the time, so I think she was. I think it was only a couple of years after that interview that she passed away. So she was, into her 90s then, sharp as a tack, funny, just like straight down the barrel, tells it like it is. And it's just a fascinating interview and a fascinating look into her life, and to a look into what it was like for her to have a spontaneous Kundalini awakening in 1981, pre-internet. There was just no information. She didn't know what on earth had happened to her. There was many, many years, I think at least a decade of sort of fumbling around in the dark before she really got on top of what was going on for her. But she, yeah, and then she went on to write all this poetry. She also was very prolific in the area of the divine feminine and all that sort of stuff as that started to emerge and be looked at in academic circles as well. So she's got that whole, that whole vibe of academia, and she's very scholarly, but she's also incredibly creative, and this sort of a heart seared by the divine. You can really see that in her poetry. It's just beautiful. And so I thought, seeing as today's a real sharing day, I might just read you a poem from here that I really love and that I know you guys will really dig. If I can find it. Of course I didn't. Here it is. All right. Sit back. This is called Two Kinds of Intelligence, and inspiration comes from Rumi, who said there are two kinds of intelligence. Okay, and here is the poem. There are two kinds of intelligence. One is the sort we acquire in school, where we memorize, dissect, discard what our feelings tell us about the direction our hearts wish to go. Sorry, I haven't rehearsed this. Thus, we develop skills that command a high price in the market. We marry our computers or learn to take the stuff of this world apart, ever finding new components to add to an already existing array of proficiencies. Thus, we are certain that we know what we know and never have to think about other possibilities, sovereigns of our chosen kingdoms. We often become famous, win prizes, acclaimed for our discoveries that make us ever more marketable. The other kind of knowledge opens us to the secrets of plants and paintings and waves tossing against the shore. We marry certain trees and betroth ourselves to flowers. Evening clouds take us aback with their shifting array of colours, purple and subtle orange. It envelopes us in a kind of awe at concerts where we allow ourselves to be ravished by sound, frequencies arriving in nuanced order to echo deep within. This kind of knowing commands love, a caring for those who cross our path, a way of connecting with others, even those who we have never seen. This way is not marketable. It constantly turns the base metal of our lives into gold. I think I just really wanted to share that with you, because I feel like this is what it's all about. This space that we have, that we're all creating through our witchiness, through our spirituality, through the calls that we're answering from tuning into our intuition, which is basically, to me, intuition is the voice of the divine. In A Course in Miracles, learning about the two thought systems that sort of occupy our minds, and one thought system is that of the ego, and the other is this still, small, quiet of God, the goddess, the divine, the blessed, however you want to refer to it, or intuition. It's that still, quiet voice, and it provides you with the other kind of knowledge that she's talking about here. And so I'd really, I just really want to, in 2024, like Elle was saying, I want my theme to be more about being fully expressed, a fully expressed woman, and sharing my discoveries with you, and not waiting until I'm an expert, which has been such a huge thing for me, that voice that says they already know this, you've got nothing to say, you don't know enough, how can you back this up? I know that That is the voice of ego, whereas the quiet, still voice of the goddess of the divine says, why don't you just make a video? Why don't you just talk to who wants to hear from you? So 2024 is more about following that for me, and bringing you along with me, if that's what you want. So I think that's all I'm going to share with you today. Hopefully there will be other footage on this as well. But from me here in this rainy Sunday afternoon, many, many blessings and Happy New Year. And if you want to connect with me more, I'm over on Instagram now under I Found a Fox as well. So bye for now. See ya.
In the city. You've got to say, can I put you just put in here for you if you like? Just in case.